Now, with all of this stuff going on, it's not looking good for the WNBA right now. I will say it is helping that Unrivaled's ratings are absolutely atrocious and embarrassing. But all in all, it seems like a lot of these ladies that the WNBA has helped, because at the end of the day, they have not been making money. The WNBA
not looking good. That's putting it simply, because what we're witnessing now isn't just another WNBA scandal. This is an existential crisis. The league that Caitlin Clark saved in 2024 may be set to collapse due to the very players she helped enrich. And the irony is that they're the ones with the knife.
Where it could be death, okay? The first one is, okay, the WNBA and WNBPA agreed on a groundbreaking CBA in 2020, okay? So they agreed on that CBA. That was cool. Now, this was
11 particular events that lead the WNBA to this point, when the Players Association and the league have reached an impasse in CBA discussions. But here's something ESPN won't tell you straight. 3 of those 11 items are more important than the rest combined, and one of them alters everything. Let me guide you through the sequence that led us to this position, because understanding how we got here is the only way to comprehend why Caitlin Clark's WNBA career could be over.
2020, the WNBA announced the bubble season. Now, that was during a crazy time in the world. They started the wobble and they played games. And Kathy Engelbert, for y'all that don't know, Kathy Engelbert had to beg these players to play, or there would be no more WNBA. A lot of these players wanted all of their money up front plus extra. Kathy Engelbert got that done. A lot of these players was willing to let this league die out in 20.
Remember the bubble season? Most fans aren't familiar with this story, yet it is crucial. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert had to literally beg the players to participate. Not ask, but plead. Because without that bubble season, without games played during the pandemic, the WNBA would cease to exist. Players wanted their entire salary up front, plus hazard pay extras. The league was hemorrhaging money. Engelbert managed to get it done, persuaded them to play, and kept the league going. This is the important element right now. Many of the same players that nearly destroyed the league in 2020 are again making unrealistic demands.
Okay? That's a big deal, because that shift the balance in power between the private owners that just own WNBA teams and the owners that own WNBA, NBA teams. And now you have this investor group in that situation, that extra 16% that shift the balance in power. Something else that happened was the Liberty were fined for illicit chartering. Now, being that the New York Liberty got fined $500,000 for doing their own private chartering. The owner did whatever.
The capital rise happens in February 2022. New investors and existing owners contributed $75 million. It was the largest capital offering for a women's sports property in history. Doesn't that sound great? But there's a catch. The WNBA gave up 16% of its stock to that investor group. Now you have 3 ownership factions. 42% are owned by WNBA-only franchise owners, 42% by NBA owners with WNBA teams, and 16% by outside investors. That shift in power balance will be important when we get to the current stage of these negotiations. Because when you have 3 different parties with 3 different agendas negotiating how to split revenue, things get messy quickly. An issue.
That was an issue. Okay. In 2023, the Aces kickstart facilities race. All right. So now you see you starting to see these teams put this money into these facilities, right? Now the Aces have a really great owner who's willing to spend money on the best coaches, the best facilities. He'll fly in private on his own. He's willing to do things that other owners wasn't. Now we are about to get to the big part right here. Okay. All right.
Then you have the Liberty being fined $500,000 for chartering flights. Joe A., the team's owner, opted to fly them privately because he could afford it and wanted to give his players an advantage. The league responded, "No, that's not permitted. That creates a competitive imbalance." The fine is $500,000. Meanwhile, Mark Davis, the Las Vegas Aces owner, is constructing cutting-edge facilities, employing the greatest coaches, and doing everything he can to establish a championship infrastructure. Some owners are eager to spend, while others are not, and the difference is causing long-term friction.
Yada, yada, yada. This was the biggest part right here. And this, I believe, is one of, if not the biggest thing in why we are at this point, is because of this brilliant young lady here, Caitlin Clark. April 2024, Caitlin Clark drafted into WNBA. Spotlight intensifies. Remember that. Spotlight intensifies. Fresh off a record-breaking senior season at Iowa, Clark was drafted #1 in the 2024 draft by the Indiana.
In 2024, everything changes. This is the moment that alters the significance of all subsequent events. Caitlin Clark is drafted first overall by the Indiana Fever. Night coverage draws an average of 2.45 million viewers. Not for the game, but for the draft. People tuned in only to see her name announced and what jersey she'd be wearing. That's the level of star power we're discussing. The WNBA has never witnessed anything remotely similar to this, and the league had no idea how to handle it. They didn't know how to protect her. They didn't know how to market around her effectively. They didn't know how to handle the attention she brought. But they obviously knew how to profit monetarily from whatever she produced.
At this point, because I don't believe that without Caitlin Clark, they would have the demands that they have. Period. Weeks later, the league announced it was transitioning to a full-time chartering program. Weeks later, yeah, some teams was flying private on back-to-backs. They was flying private for the finals. Weeks later, after Caitlin Clark gets drafted, everybody flying private, every game. What we talking about? What we talking about? She changed this thing, man. She changed the...
Here's what people should know about Caitlin Clark's effect. It wasn't just about the ratings and attendance, but those were significant. It was about shifting the overall expectation of what WNBA players thought they earned. Weeks after Clark was drafted, the league announced full-time charter plane for all teams. Not just playoffs or back-to-backs, but in every flight. That's millions of dollars in additional operating costs that the league unexpectedly found in its budget. Why? Because the optics of their biggest star flying commercial while being physically targeted throughout each game would have been disastrous. Players had requested charter flights for years due to health and safety concerns. The league claimed it was not financially possible. Then Caitlin Clark appears, and it's no longer just possible, but necessary.